Hey, how you all doing here at Summerville Estates? All right, you having a good day? Yeah. Just don't go outside, it's too hot. Is it hot out there? I guess, getting into the summertime now, right? Yeah. Hardly had a spring, but now we're in summer. And at least you guys don't have to do this as much, but yeah, I left early. I still didn't get here when I wanted to get here. The traffic is so bad around this area. I guess you guys know that too, right? Anyway, my name is John McKernan. Let's give a round of applause to Donna for having me out here so she could do some different kind of entertainment for you guys. Okay. And I see we got snacks over there and some things you might want to drink, so feel free to do that. If you have cell phones, just turn off the, make sure it's on silent. And then also try not to talk. If you have a conversation, you want to go out with me and come back in, that's fine. But, some people might have a hard time hearing me if you're talking. I might have a hard time interacting with you all. And, of course, people are here want to hear the show. So, is that fair enough, guys? Okay. Okay, great. All right. Well, like I said, my name is John McKernan. I've been doing stand-up for over 40 years. When I went to college, I started a comedy club there. Actually, I had a comedy radio show. The university hired us to do skits for incoming freshmen. And then I started working all the comedy clubs around the Baltimore, D.C. area. Moved down here about 20 years ago and have gone to a lot of clubs around here. And, a lot of, I especially like the retirement community. I get to see them, and it's always fun interacting with you guys here. So let's get started. I have 5 children. Yep, my wife and I made them from scratch. And, a funny thing happened. You can see I got a cast on this arm. Well, 2 months ago, I was in pretty good health. I was walking, a couple miles a day. I was doing great. And then at my part-time job, I fell down the stairs, broke my finger on this hand. My legs I thought were broken, but they weren't quite broken. They had tendonitis though in them. Now, 2 weeks after that, I also am on the liver transplant list down at MUSC. So every year they test my liver to see how's it doing. This year they found a cancerous tumor in my liver. Oh, thank you guys. And my wife took me down there 2 weeks later. And so we went in there. And I had this cast on, I couldn't walk. They went in through this arm and went down into the liver and basically used some kind of new chemotherapy technician that just kind of blew up the tumor. It's a small tumor. Went back a month ago, it's not there anymore, so I'm very happy with that. That's great. But here's what happened to me. So I had a cast on this at one point. Had a cast on this at one point. Could hardly walk. All I have to say, it sucks to get old. You guys can relate to this. I couldn't do much. I couldn't even pick my nose. Couldn't make love to my wife if I wanted to. The other comics called it my injury comedy tour. And, the funny thing is, I'm a stand-up comedian. Well, sometimes I have to sit down. So I was a sit-down comedian for a while. And all. So, but while I was sick, I had to go to the doctors all the time and get blood. And, sometimes they take 7, 8, 10 vials of blood from me. I come home to my wife and I said, can you believe all this blood they're drawing me? She says, are you seeing vampires? I said, it might be. I think I'm part of that movie series, the Twilight. She says, well, make sure you wear your cross. I said, well, I've got something better. So now when I go see the doctors, I always take this with me, just in case. I like doing a lot of retirement communities. I actually did one just down the street, and they advertise they have a swimming pool. So I get there, and I don't see a swimming pool anywhere. So I said, where's your pool? They said, wait. So wait for what? Wait for it to rain.
Okay.
So I go in to do my comedy show. It's raining all during the comedy show. I come out and there's this big puddle in the middle of the parking lot. They said, that's our swimming pool. Just be careful of the traffic. Now, about a month ago, for the first time, I played a nursing home. I hadn't done that before. That had memory care and Alzheimer's and everything else. I was a little hesitant because I didn't know how they'd react to it, but they loved my jokes. They all laughed at them. In fact, they said, can you come back every month? I said, well, I don't mind doing that because they won't remember my jokes the next month I come there. And, you know, I know where they're going to laugh, and I don't have to worry about them stealing my jokes. But there was a 90-year-old there who was in a wheelchair with an oxygen mask, and he started heckling me. You believe it? Heckling me. I didn't know what to do. Should I take him on? I mean, if I get him to laugh too hard and he dies, am I going to be charged with manslaughter? So let me get a feel for you guys here. How many people are over 70 right now? Got a few here? Okay, how about 75? That's still a fair amount. 80? Wow, okay, we're doing well. How about 85? 85? Okay, how old are you, ma'am? 86? How are you? What?
I'm 84.
84. Okay, almost there. Ma'am, you there, right?
I'm 90.
90, okay. I think we got the 1-to-1 today. Good.
How old are you? This lady is, how old are you?
96.
96! Oh, man, let's give her a round of applause. That's excellent. Now, the reason why I asked that question, I was playing at another place just around the corner, and they actually had a woman there that was 101 years old. She's very alert. She loved her jokes. A lot of people came out.
Nothing.
Had a good time.
We got somebody here that's 104.
Oh, somebody 104?
Yeah.
That's the law.
She cracks jokes.
I haven't heard someone that old. That's interesting. Okay.
She cracks jokes.
Oh, she's still
Very
funny and
good.
cracks jokes. Why is she here? I mean, okay. Well, anyway. So after the show, I call my wife and I say, "Sweetheart, do we have anything for dinner?" She says, "No." She says, "You're right next to Piggly Wiggly here on Cedar Road." And she says, "Why don't you go there and get some fried chicken and mac and cheese?" So I go in there, and now at my age, I always ask them the same question: do you have a senior discount?
Right.
Yes, sir. Can you guys guess how old you have to be to get the senior discount? You'll probably never guess. Anybody want to throw out some numbers?
55.
55?
80s.
80?
90.
90? He said to me, 95, sir!
95.
Can you believe it?
They never come in.
I know 95. I had some people in the audience the other day told me 95. I said, you must shop at Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, I said, you're kidding me. He says, no, it's 95. I said, you're pulling my legs. He says, no, you want chicken legs? I said, 95? Yes. I said, that isn't a senior discount. That's a geriatric discount. You know, at 95, you can't even get life insurance? It's probably the only senior discount I know where they card you. So I'm going out in the parking lot, I see all these 80 and 90-year-olds in the parking lot going up to people asking them where they can get fake IDs. Can you imagine being a 90-year-old with a fake ID and they catch you and arrest you? What are they going to do, throw you in jail?
Feed you and take care of you.
Yep. My father-in-law, though, just turned 92. So I call him, I say, hey, Pops, get it? I said, you're 92, you have anything in your bucket list? Yeah, I want to turn 95 and get the Piggly Wiggly senior discount. I like to tell stories that actually happened in my life. Usually I'll think of names or something like that. I do a lot of clean jokes, sometimes mixed jokes. I do a lot of one-liners. Like the other day, my wife and I found this cable service that's half the price. The only problem is we only get to see half a movie. I went to the grocery store the other day, and they had this big sale. They said, buy two, get one. inflation's that bad, guys. You know. But anyway, on the other end of the spectrum is I just had my first grandson this year. Thank you, guys. You know, and his name is George. He is. I don't know what to say about George. I think he's going to be a stand-up comic too. He works the room better than I do. Well, for his first birthday, his parents, they live in Alaska, they flew him out here to be with us, and we took the restaurant. My daughter says, "Watch this, Dad." So she turns the high chair around, puts him in, so he's facing the door. As the people come in, he starts waving to them and babbling and everything. You know, all the people come up to him and start talking to him. Like I said, he works the room better than any politician I know. And all the women, of course, because he's a baby, they can kiss him. Some of them even offered to change his diaper. I'm sorry, I should have brought that up. Okay. Anyway, so for his first birthday, he got what's called a smash cake. Anybody heard of a smash cake? All right, this is one of the latest crazes going, you know. So when the baby's brand new and they get the first birthday, they go to the store, buy them a little cake, they put it in front of him, and they let him do with or her whatever they want. And George, we took out to one of these popular restaurants here in Charleston. So he's there eating it, putting his face in it, putting it all over his face, and we're playing the music from the Beatles, "It's Your Birthday," and all the customers in the restaurant come up to see George. They like him so much, they start giving him dollar bills. He was so popular that the owners asked him to come back this Saturday night to do a repeat performance. If I could just convince his parents to stay up that late, but I think they will because he's paid for their basically trip here. So, anyway. So, like I said, we have 5 children, my wife and I, and the only way we kept our sanity is that we had a date night. I don't know if you guys ever done that when you were married, have date nights. Anybody do that? No? Okay, yeah. Well, so we would go out, and after a few years, the kids knew we were on date night. So they would be pushing us out the door. Well, we come back from the date night, and the house is a total wreck. They had more fun date night than we did. The last straw for me is we're out on a date night, and we got a call from the police. They said, "Mr. McKernan, there's a block party at your house." I said, "Where are my neighbors?" "Oh, they're at it." So we came home. We were going to stop date night, so we changed the locks, put the security system in, and on the weekend, we sent them out to their friend's house. So date night became date weekend. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord, free at last. And then we bought a dog and it started all over again. So, I'm going to tell you a few stories about my children. In fact, they asked me the other day, "Dad, you're going back into doing comedy again. Is that your retirement program?" I said, "No, that's your inheritance." So, I'm not going to change their names because none of them are innocent. But this first one I call "The Accountant Goes to Sports Bar." And this is our third daughter, Jennifer. She's very bright, very smart, and an accountant. So she isn't funny. But she knows how to do things real well in the business, but she knows nothing about sports. So I really didn't have anything to talk about her. It was funny until 6 months ago. I come home, and she asked me, "Hey, Dad, can you take me to the sports bar?" I said, "Jennifer, why do you want to go to the sports bar?" She says, "Oh, because South Carolina is playing Georgia in a football game, and all my friends are there." "Jennifer, I don't think it's a good idea." She says, "Please, Dad." So I took her to the sports bar. When we parked in the parking lot, I said, "Now, Jennifer, do not say a word. Just drink your beers and be quiet." Do you think she listened to me, guys? No. In the middle of the second quarter, in front of everybody in the bar, she turns to me and says, "Dad, when is South Carolina going to hit another home run?" I said, "Never." "Does that mean none of them are going to the major leagues?" Well, everybody in the bar stopped and started staring at me. I said, "I don't know this girl. She followed me in for the parking lot." Well, in the fourth quarter, South Carolina threw an interception. She asked, "What's that, Dad?" I said, "Well, the Georgia team just picked off the ball." "Oh, does that mean the South Carolina player's out?" I couldn't take anymore. I left the bar. Well, that Sunday morning at church, everybody's coming up and asking Jennifer football questions. And she got them all right. I couldn't believe it. I told you she's a quick learner. Excuse me? Okay. So we go home that Sunday afternoon, though, and she says to my mom, my wife and me, says, "Mom and Dad, when are the Pittsburgh Eagles going to play today?" Oh, you got that one, right? Okay, good. All right, the second one I want to tell you about is this is called "Won't You Buy My Donuts?" Heather, our oldest daughter, when she graduated high school, she wanted to come down south to college. She looked at a lot of colleges, and the one that she went to see first was Elon University, North Carolina. Anybody heard of Elon? Been there? Yeah, okay, great. So we packed the car up, we went down to Elon, and as soon as we got on campus, there was this table with this teenage boy selling Krispy Kreme donuts. And he started saying to us right away, "Won't you buy my donuts?" I said, "Guys, ignored him." So we went to the first tour of the classrooms. He came back out. There he's in front of us. "Won't you buy my donuts?" I said, "Let's get away from delivery sport. Let's go to the cafeteria." So we went to the cafeteria. As soon as we came out of the cafeteria, there he is again in our face. "Won't you buy my donuts?" I said, "Get in the car, guys. Come on, we got to go to the hotel." So we got in the car, went to the hotel. Outside our hotel window, the whole night he's shouting, "Won't you buy my donuts? Won't you buy my donuts?" This is like The Shining. I can't believe this. Well, the next day we went on campus and he cornered us, and I bought some of his donuts, which I found out was a mistake. Because the tour guide said, "He likes you a lot. You know, he's following you around everywhere. Just don't buy his donuts." I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Well, he's homeless and he'll never leave you alone." So, "Okay, guys, get in the car right now. We're packing. We're going home." So we got in our car, and all of a sudden, as we're ready to leave, he's right in front of the car, shouting, "Won't you buy my donuts? Won't you buy my donuts?" So I ran his ass over. Heather, believe it or not, decided to go to Elon in her freshman year. She went down there. She gained a lot of weight. I think she bought a lot of his donuts. And now when we want donuts, we travel all the way to Elon to get them. But she told me she just read an article about him, that unfortunately he just passed away at Elon Hospital on operating table. And his famous last words were, "Won't you buy my donuts?" Okay. Well, I have a lot of stories to tell you about when I grew up, too. So I grew up in the Maryland, Baltimore area, and they had a lot of ethnic neighborhoods there. One of them was Little Italy. And so on one side of the street in Little Italy was the Pasta family. On the opposite side of the street was their arch enemies, the Antipastas. I glad you like that. So I dated a girl named Maria Jacoboni. She had two brothers named Tony Jacoboni. They all drove big black Cadillacs. They had the only cement factory in Baltimore. When I went over to their house, they were always playing The Godfather or Goodfellas. Frank Sinatra music was on all the time. I was scared to death to break up with this girl. Thank God she broke up with me. Well, 20 years later, Marie moves next door to my sister. My sister calls me and said, "John, come on over. Marie's here with 4 kids. You got to meet her." So we came over. Marie pulls me aside and says, "John, I think I made a mistake." "What do you mean, Marie?" "I think I should have married you." I said, "Marie, it would never worked out. You're Catholic, and I want to live." She says, "But I'll make you an offer you can't refuse." I said, "Look, just drop the gun and give me the cannolis." They were also building, when I was in college, the National Aquarium in Baltimore. It's probably one of the nicest ones around. And so they had finished it. They were about to open it, But then they realized they forgot the budget $1 million. You know what they forgot the budget $1 million for, guys? The fish, right. She's right. She's on target here. The fish! Do you believe that? I thought it'd be great. Maryland would be the first aquarium not to have fish. You know, people would be lined up for miles to see nothing. They come in and the tour guide would say, if you just pretend there's a fake tuna, great white shark in there when I throw a fake tuna. Well, the politicians were arguing how to get the money. So they decided to open up as a water park. So they opened it up, had all the kids come in. They finally got the money and the fish, and then they realized they had to clean the tanks because of the kids, and they spent another $1 million. I call this the coolest cut of all. When I was going to college, I got a paper cut. You guys ever get paper cuts? They can stink, can't they? Yeah. So I went to the nurse's office, and the nurse says to me, "Young man, do you know a paper cut's one of the worst cuts you can get?" Well, I thought about it for a second. I said, "Ma'am, I hate to disagree with you, but I think maybe an axe cut is worse than a paper cut." Now, I could be wrong. I'm no medical expert here, but I think an axe cut is. Well, she patched me all up. She sent me on my way across campus, and then some guys jumped out of the bushes to rob me. They had guns and knives. Well, me thinking quick from what she told me, I pulled in my pocket, got my campus ID out, and started holding up. I said, "Put those guns down." "Oh, be careful of that, sir. You're going to hurt somebody. Please, put it down." I said, "No, I'm not going to put it down. You put down." They put down their guns and knives and ran. Like I said, I put a lot of places around town, and there's a bar over here called the Ice House in Summerville. And I was there one time doing my comedy, and a girl comes up after the show, and she said, "Oh, I just love your comedy. You're so funny. And I just got out of jail." I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "What were you in jail for?" She says, "Drugs." She said, "Why did they let you out?" "Well, I agreed to wear this ankle bracelet." So I look down her legs, I see no ankle bracelet. I said, "What happened to the ankle bracelet?" So she gets her cell phone out of her pocket, she puts it in, and then she shows me a picture. Earlier that day, she went on a fishing trip, and she caught this big red snapper, and I noticed on the tail of the snapper was the ankle bracelet. She said she threw it back in the water. That gives new meaning to catch and release. Yeah. Can you imagine the police going all over Charleston Harbor trying to find this woman? They probably think they're chasing Michael Phelps. They might even put out a riptide warning. I tell you, she was wasted at the bar. But anyway, I thought, why not have a contest? Whoever catches the fish or the girl gets a free out of jail card. Well, I never saw her again. I guess she did end up back in jail. So it's funny how these things happen in your life, isn't it? When I met my wife, she was working at Toyota. And she came home and she said to me, "You know, you want it, you got it." Her next job was a Burger King, and then she said to me, "Have it your way." Then she got a job at Little Caesars, and she came home with her uniform that said "Hot and Ready" on it. Well, she's now working at Wendy's, so she comes home and she asks me, "Where's the beef?" I said, "I'll take you to Arby's, because that's where the beef is." Anyway. You know, as I'm getting older, so many things happen to you. Today, I accidentally flushed one of my water bills down the toilet. Now the toilet won't stop running. You guys ever get a jury summons? Yeah, I got one here about 6 months ago. I can't stand these things, it's a waste of time. But my wife double booked that day an appointment at the car shop to get the oil change on our vehicle. So I went in early and I showed him my jury summons. I said, "Can you please do this as quickly as possible because I got to get into jury court." "That's a fastest oil change I ever got. And the rest of the people were ticked off at me because I went ahead of everybody. And it got me thinking, you know, I could use this jury summons for a lot of different things. You're stuck in line, it's going nowhere, you're back in line, just pull out your jury summons. You'll go right to the front. You get pulled over by a policeman for speeding, pull out the jury summons. He'll tell you to go to court. You're okay as long as he doesn't show up. You're at the bar talking to somebody that's going nowhere, well, show them the jury summons. They'll buy you drinks. It happens all the time. But they didn't actually have a jury that case that day. They dismissed them all. And so the judge then says to us, you know, when you guys go out, get this piece of paper. They're out in the lobby, and you'll get paid for the day at work. So I go and get this piece of paper, and I notice they had a big stack of them, and it wasn't filled out. You had to fill it out. In fact, the date was blank, everything was blank. So I got thinking, I took a whole bunch of them. I went to my work and gave my boss that one. But any day now when I don't feel like going to work, I fill out a jury summons and give it to my boss. Ticks him off. I'm always off. Well, I decided I wanted to be a hero in the office, so I went to the copy machine, made 500 copies, handed it out to everybody else in the office. Now a lot of them aren't showing up, they're jury duty. So, you know, it works well as long as you don't have to start with a jury. You guys are probably wondering why I'm dressed like this. It's so hot out. Like I said, I started a comedy club when I was 19. I love comedians, but my favorite comedian was Rodney Dangerfield. Anybody remember Rodney Dangerfield? Oh God. I must have saw him a dozen times. He actually came into one of the bars I was working, got to meet him, talk to him and everything. And he was just as wild in person as he was on the screen or in his act. And I got to know him over the years and became friends with him like a lot of the comics. But at 34, I became born again. So I'd always wished that I could have talked to Rodney about Jesus and maybe have him come to Jesus before he passed away. So I called this bit Born Again Rodney. I tell you, it ain't easy being me. I get no respect. Nobody loves me. You know, when I was born, my parents ran away from home. My foster parents, they kept on putting me up for adoption. Even my wife doesn't love me. For my birthday, she gave me divorce papers. And my children, they didn't love me either. They petitioned the court to let the neighbors have joint custody. And my dog didn't like me either. She refused to like me. The only person that did like me was Christ. So I went home. I told my wife, hey, I'm born again. She went screaming out of the house, I can't take it anymore. So I went to God and said, God, you know, I'm new to this thing, Christianity, what am I going to do? He said, don't worry, I'll take you under my rib. Then he handed me off to Jesus. I started studying the Bible. I realized that God created the heavens and the earth. I was an afterthought. I said, God, I get no respect on earth. He says, how's that? I said, well, I go to the grocery store, I get kicked out of the express line for having a dozen eggs. Well, that's funny. All right. So I said, well, how do you feel about that, God? He says, you know, how do you think I feel? I don't get respect. You know, all people down on earth don't think I exist. I said, what'd you do about it? Well, I sent him my son Jesus. So what happened? Well, they nailed him to a cross. I said, that stinks. Well, why do you still love them? Because they're made in my image, except you. I found you in the lost and found. Thank God. Jesus said, you're welcome. You know, on the sixth day, God created man. Then he gave him a wife. And it all went downhill from there. I'll tell you, Adam and Eve, the original Naked and Afraid reality show. You know, they weren't too smart either. God told them to be fruitful and multiply, so they planted all these apple trees in the garden. So I went to God, I said, you know, here's Adam naked, here's Eve naked, what are they doing with the serpent? I said, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. I got kicked out of heaven for that. And of course, their offspring, they weren't too smart either. Cain and Abel, Cain definitely wasn't his brother's keeper. He went and became a stand-up comic too, and he killed it. Jonah had a wife, and she was fat. How fat was she? Well, she was so fat, when she walked the neighborhood, they had to put up detour signs. Everywhere. She became big as a whale. And started going down to start working at the National Aquarium. Jonah couldn't handle it, so she swallowed him whole. Jeremiah was a bullfrog and a good friend of mine. Never understood a word he said, but he loved Jesus' mighty fine wine. I tell you, he used to say, God's going to destroy the earth. And he was a high-flying guy, loved the women, while singing, God's going to destroy the earth, eat all the fish in the deep blue sea, God's going to destroy you and me. Israelites killed him. I tell you, God introduced me to Job. I said, that's okay, I already got a job. Glad you guys got that one. Some others don't get it. All right, so I'll tell you what, though, Noah. I met Noah, and I tell you, you know Noah built the ark, but what you don't know is that everybody stormed the ark because he bought up all the toilet paper. And he didn't respect me either. He told me to be the janitor. Now I know why God brought all the animals into number 2 in. I'll tell you, God introduced me to Moses. And I accidentally set a bush on fire. But God used it anyway to teach Moses how to parse the Red Sea. I'm just happy when God parts the traffic on Red Bank Road in the morning. It's great. I tell you, Moses went to Pharaoh and he says, hey, let my people go. But there weren't enough bathrooms. So they went everywhere and wandered in the desert for 40 years looking for bathrooms. Then there was Elijah. You know, he made some good bourbon, Kentucky bourbon, and he took Uber all over the place until he gave him a golden chariot that went to heaven. I told God, you gave me an excellent and ugly wife.
I wondered if Jesus, no, I forgot.
How ugly? He says, well, I took her to the zoo and animals fed her.
No,
I tell you, when you go to Coastal Carolina Fair, they won't let her into the freak show. You know, even though she doesn't look that great, I still get excited when I see her half naked. It doesn't matter which half. Daniel had to face the lions. I had to face my in-laws. My wife didn't respect me either. She built an in-law apartment and put me in it. I tell you, Jesus, I caught him walking on water one time. They turned it into wine. And we sat at the bar and drank. It was great. We didn't have a tap. I asked Jesus, what is it with this Virgin Mary? How does that work? He says, the Holy Spirit works in mysterious ways. I said, no, he doesn't respect me either. He ghosts me all the time. I said, my neighbors, I go to witness to them, and they call animal control on me. So God had a 3-pronged approach to saving the world: the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost hangs out here in Charleston. Why do you think they call it the Holy City? And have all these ghost tours. Well, anyway, guys, it's my impression of Rodney Dangerfield. I hope you liked it. Good. Okay. So, I heard on the news a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Puxatawny Phil, the groundhog, just had 2 babies. And so the town was so excited about it, they decided to have a contest to name the babies. So I submitted the babies' names as lunch and dinner. Now Peter's showing up at my house. For Valentine's Day, my wife asked me, what do you want for Valentine's Day? I said, I want chocolates. So what do you want? She says flowers. So before Valentine's Day, they had a sale on chocolates, and I got them all. But she ate them all. So I got flowers for Valentine's Day. I'm going to leave you guys with this one bit. It's a dedication to my grandmother, Nana. I got my sense of humor from her. She always encouraged me. She told me jokes at a young age. I would repeat them. Then I started writing my own jokes, and she laughed at every one of them, even the ones that weren't funny. But there was one thing about Nana that ticked her off. She was a leap year baby. Anybody know leap year babies?
Yeah.
They can't stand it. But she came up with this great idea to celebrate her birthday on the off years on February 28th and March 1st. So she got 2 birthdays those years, okay? But think about it. She was a child genius. At age 1, she could walk, talk, and ride a bike. At age 2, she went to elementary school and learned math. Child prodigy. Age 3, she started middle school and became a 1. At age 4, she started high school and she graduated high school. She got out of college before age 6, and then at age 7, she married a much older man, my grandfather. At age 8, she had her first child, my father. At age 12, she had her first grandchild, me. I actually turned 18 before she did. Unfortunately, Nana passed away at 19, and my wife and I remember all the time. So on the off years, we go out on February 28th, March 1st to dinner, 2 days in a row, and I get lucky 2 days in a row. But this year was leap year, 29th of February, right? So we did it once, and I got lucky once. But I just want to thank my grandmother for her sense of humor she gave me and my encouragement. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. You have a good time? Excellent. Thank you guys for having me out here. Guys, you guys outlasted the men. Where'd all the men go?
We usually do.
That's probably what you say. Where'd all the men go?
They're so cute.
I was working one retirement home, and they just got a new male in there. They had about 20 females in the room to 2 men, and he loved it. They just constantly talking to him and doing everything to him. So it's kind of fun. Anyway, thanks to you guys, and hopefully if you like it, tell Donna and they come out and do another show for you. Hopefully get some more people out. More the merrier. There it goes, they laugh. All right. So did any of you all go to see stand-up comedy when you were younger? Did you go to some nightclubs? No? You did? A little? What?
Small amount in California.
California, yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Yeah. The sad part, there's none down here. Charleston. Oh, that's why I played all the guitar. Well, you guys have a great day. It was nice seeing you. My wife thanks you too.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.